Breaking NFL news, the New York Jets have fired head coach Robert Saleh just 5 games into the 2024 season. We're going to break it all down here on Verts. My name is Harrison Graham. This is why you subscribe when news breaks. We hit you guys with a video with an instant reaction. That's what we're doing here today with the news of Robert Saleh getting fired. So if you want NFL coverage, reaction, news, trade buzz, college football content, and a whole lot more, subscribe to Verts. Let's get 50 new subscribers on today's show. We drop daily videos here on this channel. Bit of a stunner, right? I mean, not often do coaches get fired 5 games into a season if there's not a scandal of some sorts, and it certainly doesn't appear that is the case here. But at 2-3, Woody Johnson, Joe Douglas, they're pulling the trigger on this thing. They're having Saleh go away, and they're going to try and salvage their season. Now, I've got a lot of early thoughts, reaction here. Do want to mention first that Jeff Ulbrich, the defensive coordinator, has been named the interim, not Nathaniel Hackett. So I think that's a good decision. I don't think you could have gone the Hackett route after what we saw in Denver. But I think there's a few ways you could take this. My first reaction and takeaway is this feels like Aaron Rodgers' fingerprints are all over it. Now, I don't know if that's completely true. I don't know if there's collaboration. But let's be honest. Robert Saleh and Aaron Rodgers the last few weeks have not exactly been on the same page from what we've been able to see. Now, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but you had that weird incident after they scored a touchdown against the Patriots a few weeks ago, easily the best game Aaron has played, and they're kind of barking at each other after the game. Aaron says, "Oh, no, coach always talks about 2-score lead," and so I was just saying 2-score lead. Don't celebrate too much because I think it was early in the game. It's like, okay, I guess that is something, but that feels kind of odd, especially if you look at the body language. Then fast forward a week. They lose 10-9 to the Broncos and Bo Nix, who throws for 60 yards. They lose that game at home to the Broncos. Just a joke. And they had like 5 false start penalties. Saleh, after the game in the presser, says we might need to scale back the cadences, the hard counts, and just take a deep breath. Aaron Rodgers gets asked about his thoughts on Saleh saying that after the presser. He kind of scolded and was like, "I think we all just need to do our jobs better. People just need to do their jobs." And, you know, I think he was talking about the offensive line, but maybe a little bit about Saleh too. Like, hey, I think we all just need to do a better job than what we're doing. And this week they lose again. The body language isn't great throughout the game. The vibes are off. Rodgers is struggling. And yeah, I feel like Rodgers did not have much belief in this guy. And could you really blame him? Like, I don't think it's fair to make this fully about Aaron Rodgers, but I do think it's fair to mention, like, look, this guy's tough to deal with. He could be a bit of a diva. He's a bit of a me guy. But I don't think this is solely a Rodgers move. Robert Saleh is 20-36 as a head coach. Regardless of what the circumstances are, he did not get the job done. Now, I saw Schefter tweeted this out. He's had 6 different quarterbacks start games since he's been the head coach. Rodgers, Zach Wilson, Tim Boyle, Joe Flacco, a couple others, and it hasn't gone well. So I don't think Saleh has been dealt the best hand. And let's be frank, the Jets are a joke of an organization. They have not been in the playoffs since 2010. It's the longest streak in the NFL. So there's a lot of chaos. Rodgers is a tough guy to be around, it seems like. Saleh seems to be in over his head. The Jets are poorly run from ownership down. Joe Douglas, who I think has made some good acquisitions, has also missed on some. And he had the Hassan Reddick situation, which is still unresolved. And I think this is a kind of, I don't want to say full panic because I don't fully blame them for doing this. I think sometimes in professional sports and in the NFL, teams are hesitant to hire a coach mid-season. They're like, oh, we'll just do it after the year. It's like, well, the Jets are all in with a 40-year-old quarterback. Do you really want to waste this season? Like, if you don't think Robert Saleh is good enough to lead you to the playoffs, well, let's just fire him and try someone else. He's in year 4. It's not like it's year 1 or 2. Like, if this was year 2, this would be kind of insane. But it's his 4th season. He's won 20 games. We're not in the business of wasting this season. So I kind of respect that. But you'd be naive to not look at this and say, This is kind of a panic move. This is kind of a holy shit, what is going on in New York move. But both can be true. Like, if I'm a Jets fan, I might have found a little more hope today. Like, hey, maybe this Ulbrich guy, who there's reports coming out, pretty well respected, played for the 49ers for 10 years. Apparently, Kyle Shanahan tried to hire him this offseason to replace Steve Wilkes. And ultimately, the Jets promoted him to DC, and he's been their defensive play caller. So clearly, they value him, and people across the league value him. But this is, man, I mean, this whole thing, ever since they traded for Rodgers, could it have gone worse? I mean, Rodgers gets hurt 4 plays into the season last year. It's another disastrous Zach Wilson year. This year, you've got the drama of him skipping minicamp or whatever that was, and then coming out of the gate slow. He doesn't look the same. Kind of that false hope New England game. The Patriots end up being terrible. And now you fire your coach 5 weeks in. Here's the good news. You're 2-3. It's not like the season's over. Now, can you rally the troops? Do you trade for Davante Adams? I was joking with my colleagues in the office, my buddies. Could you imagine firing Salah and trading for Davante Adams on the same day? Because could that happen? Maybe. All I know is this, is that I didn't like the Jets coming into this year. 40-year-old quarterback coming off an Achilles, a head coach who is completely unproven, a play caller who is proven to be bad in Nathaniel Hackett. And so far, that take feels good. Now, at the same time, I'm honestly more intrigued with the Jets now than I was an hour ago. Like, maybe this is addition by subtraction with Salah. Because it's not like Salah was calling the defense. Like, what's he known for? Being a good defensive guy. Had good defenses in San Francisco. Well, he's been a CEO coach. He doesn't call the defense. So it's not like you're losing your play caller here on that side of the ball. In theory, the defense should still be fine and has been trending up the last couple of weeks. Thought they played really well on Sunday against the Vikings. Just Rodgers kind of shit the bed offensively, if we're being completely honest. Now, you got some tough games coming up. Buffalo this week, Monday Night Football, at Pittsburgh against a really good defense. New England at home, or on the road, but that should still be a win. But then you got the Texans at home, Cardinals on the road, which is not easy. Colts, Seattle, before you go to Miami. Like, not a lot of easy games on the schedule. And look, that's the NFL, especially when you yourself are not considered a great team. Like, no game's going to feel easy, but it's going to be interesting to see how they come out against Buffalo on Monday night. I mean, that all of a sudden becomes a fascinating game across the NFL. And look, if you win it, you're in first place. That's the thing about this. Like, as insane as it seems, with all the theories flying around, did Rodgers make the call, all this stuff, you beat Buffalo on Monday night, you're at least tied for first place, depending on what Miami does. If they win, it'd be a three-way tie at 3-3. So I do kind of respect it, as crazy as it is, to just say, we're going to try and save our season. It might blow up. It might be a disaster. But what did Aaron Rodgers say coming into this year? If we don't perform, we're all fired. Robert's fired. The coaching staff's fired. I'm not going to be here. It's not going to work. So while it's a bit crazy, while it's certainly early, while I do think Rodgers probably had influence on this, I kind of am okay with it. But because what signs have we seen that suggest Robert Saleh is a good head coach? He seems like a nice guy. He seems like he knows defense. Can he connect with players, especially the quarterback? Didn't seem like he was connecting with Aaron that well. He's getting a little chippy with the media recently. It's almost like he's just in over his head. So the Jets, who coming into this year were not that fascinating to me, kind of a little more fascinating to me now, especially if they somehow find a way to beat the Bills, who have lost 2 in a row on Monday night. So you guys let me know in the comment section down below. Is this the right move by the Jets to fire Robert Saleh 5 games into the season? Type Y for yes. Type in for no. Also, give me your thoughts. Did Aaron Rodgers have influence on this? Gotta feel like he had some, right? Gotta feel like he had some. Quick background on Jeff Ulbrich, by the way. Played for the Niners from 2000 to 2009. He's 47 years old. He's been the Jets DC since 2021. I'm not sure if he's been calling plays the whole time, but I know he has been this year. Before that, he was an Atlanta defensive assistant from 2015 to 2020. So he's been around for a little bit. Spent a season with Seattle after he retired. Was on UCLA's defensive staff for a few years. So been around. And like I said, Kyle Shanahan tried to hire him. So clearly he's well respected. Now, can he handle being the interim head coach? I have no idea. I mean, you never do with these interim situations. I know this. Nate Hackett couldn't. So I'll give the Jets credit for that, for not promoting him to head coach, which kind of thought they might when the news initially dropped. All right, my name is Harrison Graham. Appreciate you guys for tuning in to the show. Again, subscribe to the channel. We have more news and reaction. I'll get my Week 5 rapid reaction video out later today, so stay tuned for that. Until then, football, baby. It's heating up.